so what we're going to be working on this time is we're going to start making a menu system for our project. So you're going to be making a menu system for this project. This next project we're going to start working on is an underwater scene. So you can see I've already kind of set up a test map here. And I'll be giving you guys a big project that actually contains like all these assets and stuff that I made with caustic lights and whatnot. So you have them. And I'll be kind of going over that stuff when I do, when we look at some of the other videos about making an underwater environment look foggy and stuff. But you should be able to get started on your menu as well as your terrain generation while I get those made. Okay, so looking at this, we're going to go over how to actually build a menu. So this is just a map called Test Map. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and make a new map. So I'm going to go to File, New Level, and I'll make this an empty level for right now. Because you'll find out the widget doesn't really matter where you put it, but I will need to put down a cube. That way I've got something to land on. And you'll see why in just a second. So even though we're building a mini map, we're going to have our little player spawn. Usually when you're playing video games, they'll have the player spawn off camera, and I'll show you exactly how to do that as well in this little tutorial. But for right now, I'm just going to put that down, and then I'll put down a light. Because you'll want to actually make a fairly cool scene for your menu to sit against, and I'll kind of show you what that means in just a minute. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're actually going to build our widgets. So I'm going to go ahead and just right click in here and go to user interface, and then I'm going to click on widget blueprint. So I'm going to call this menu width, and I'm going to go ahead and double click it. Now once I double click it, it's going to bring us into the designer view of this widget. So this is just kind of what it looks like, and I made it really, really big. So I'm going to go ahead and drag text out, and I'm going to, over here on the right side where it says text block, I'm going to change this to underwater experience. So you'll see it kind of get written there. But I need to go ahead and adjust it so it's bigger. So right here we have font, and by default yours is probably going to be closed like that. So I just click on that chevron, and I can go into my size here. I can do 48. Well, that's probably not big enough, so let's try 56. Let's try 72. There we go. 72 sounds good. Looks good, rather. Alright, so I'm going to put that there. Now this is called the anchor. So this anchor controls where it's going to appear on the screen depending on the resolution that you have. So wherever you put this is going to try to maintain the positioning of that object. So I'm going to go ahead and put that right in the middle there. And this is just the title, so it's Underwater Experience. You can change the color and all that stuff over here. Or you could put your own picture in there, whatever you want. But for right now I'm just keeping it fairly simple. So I'm going to put down a button. Make that a little bigger. Put it there. As well as move that anchor to the middle. And then what's cool is I'm just going to drag text and drop it right on the button, and you'll see it snap into the button. And then I'll change this to start. And then I'll make another button, and this will be our quit button. Right here. Alright, so then I have this other button here, and I'm going to go ahead and make this one say quit. So I'm just going to drag this text here, drop it there, and we'll have this say quit. There we go. Okay, so now what we'll do is I will go ahead and I can adjust these. And if you notice now, the text is always going to stay inside the button, like it's just always going to sit there. So now we have to actually do the code to make these buttons work. So I'm going to click on the start button. I'm going to scroll down over here on the right side, and I can see on clicked. So what I want it to do on click. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And it says on clicked. So I'm going to drag off this arrow. I'm going to type open and it's going to give us level. And then I will go ahead and give it that level name, which I think is test map. There we go. So I'm just going to type that in here. Test map. Right there. Perfect. Compile, no errors. It's always a good check. Click on designer, click on the quit button. Scroll down, on clicked. Drag this out. Quit game. Right there. Compile, no errors, perfect. Okay, so now I've got that drawn, that menu ready to go. So now what I have to do is actually have to call it inside of the level blueprint. So in the level blueprint, we have to decide that, hey, you're going to be triggering this menu that we can interact with. So how do we go about doing that? So you're going to click on blueprints here, and then open level blueprint. And then we're going to be using the event begin play here. And I'm going to drag off of this, and I'm going to type create widget. And then for this class, I'm going to choose MenuWid, because that's our widget that we made. So it's going to go ahead and create that widget. And you can move this out of the way if you want to. It doesn't matter. That's in case you need that, which we shouldn't for right now. So we're going to drag that off and add to viewport. Add to viewport. Connect those, so that's the target. And what's interesting is we need to do something called set show mouse cursor to actually show the mouse cursor. Otherwise we can't do anything. However, if I try to drag off of this and type set show, it doesn't work. So what we need to do is we need to get our player controller so it knows who is actually controlling this. So I'm going to right click, get player. You'll see get player controller. And now if I drag off of this and type set show, you'll see set show mouse cursor show up right there. Drag that, connect that, click that, so it actually shows it. Compile, save. That's going to ask you to save this map, so I'm going to call it menu level. Okay, so now what happens if I hit play, there's the map. And if I click start, it loads right into test map. Okay, but we saw some issues, right? We had some issues in that, well, the character just fell for one thing, which is fine. It's not going to hurt anything. Unless it hits that kill Z and dies. But our menu is also very ugly, right? So if I hit play again, this is all it is. And I can still move around. Which is fine, because we haven't taken control away. But we want to actually have our menu looking nice. So I'm going to hit stop. And I'm going to go ahead and start placing down some of these materials. So under underwater assets, static meshes, I built these corals and stuff like that for us to use. So there we go. We have that here. Let's put some more down. These are going to be kind of big. We're just trying to make it not look so plain. So we got a sea fan. We can put behind it like that. And I made some bubbles here too. So bubbles particle. Drag that. Kind of put it right there. I'll make another one over here. There we go. Okay, so now what I need to do is I need to actually frame it inside of a camera. So I'm going to come over here and click on Cinematic, and there's something called Cine Camera Actor. So I'm just going to click and drag that out, and it's going to give me this camera that I can then adjust. Depending on what I want here. There we go. So about 30. Looks decent. Okay. Now, obviously, you're going to want to spend a little more time on this. This is, again, just for an example here. You'll probably want to build maybe a terrain or use the Ancient Ruins pack that I'm going to give you to actually start adjusting and putting stuff in. Okay, so now what we have to do is we have to go ahead and get this camera and put it in our level blueprint. So I'm going to go to our blueprints, open level blueprint. I'm going to scroll over here. I'm going to grab my Cine Camera Actor, put it right there. Now here's something interesting, is if I drag off here and I want to do something called set view target with blend, and I type set view target, it doesn't give me what I want. But if I turn off context sensitive, I can see set view target with blend. So I'm going to put that down. I'm going to move stuff around so it's still easy to see. Okay, so now it's going to ask, what is our target, new view target? Well, our new view target is going to be our Cine Actor 1. And then what is our main target, which means what's controlling this? I'm going to go ahead and drag off of this Get Player controller and connect it to target. And if you don't want to do that, if you don't want to use this player controller to control both of these, you can just drag out another one. It doesn't matter how many you have. It's still going to use the same. So I'm going to compile that, save that. Close this, and now I'll hit play. And you can see that now my menu is actually sitting where my camera is looking, right? So now I can click start, and there we go. I'm now in my very lame underwater environment here. But there we go. So that's kind of it for the menus. They're really, really simple to do. They're quite easy to make work, which is awesome. And then that's kind of it. So you're going to make sure to have a menu on this one, as well as building a full terrain system, and then placing all of your models and decorations and adding the fog and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. But those will be in the videos coming out this week. So that's it for menus, and I hope you have fun doing them.